Just because you don't like something doesn't necessarily make you a hater. All right. I'm gonna just put that out there like that. I'm a huge fan of Donald Glover, huge fan of Childish Gambino when he decides to put out some music. I wasn't feeling the finale, man. I was not feeling the Atlanta finale. Hey, what's going on, folks? This is another episode of Just My Opinion with Ryan, and we are going to be talking about the season finale of Atlanta. This is ending season 3, and yeah, let's just get into it, man. Well, let me backtrack. If this is your first time here, I would really appreciate if you hit that like and subscribe button. If you've been here before, I truly appreciate it. So, I gotta be honest. Let me make this clear first. Let me just put a disclaimer out there. Just because you don't like something doesn't necessarily make you a hater. All right. I'm gonna just put that out there like that. I'm a huge fan of Donald Glover, huge fan of Childish Gambino when he decides to put out some music, all that. But just because you feel like somebody dropped the ball or maybe you wasn't feeling something doesn't make you a hater. All right. Quick example. I'm a huge Pusha T fan. But his most recent album was just okay. I prefer Daytona or My Name Is My Name better. Doesn't mean I don't like Pusha T. I just felt like it was just okay. So I felt this. I say all that to say, I wasn't feeling the finale, man. I was not feeling the Atlanta finale, and I know we're gonna get right into it. But yeah, it was one of those things. Matter of fact, the only two things I did like about the finale was the fact that was the heartwarming moment between Van and Candace, and the I guess you could say the post-credit scene. Other than that, I did not like this episode. It just felt like one long, random ass, weird dream. It was just a weird ass dream, this whole episode. So. Anyway, let's get into it. So we start off with Candace and her two friends. Candace is originally friends with knows Van from Atlanta, but Candace brings two friends along. The two friends are named Shanice and Josha, which, if I'm not mistaken, Zosha, I think I'm pronouncing that right, is either a current girlfriend of Lakeith Stanfield or at least the mother of his child, something of that nature. So I thought that was dope that he was able to bring her into an episode. So anyway, it's Candace and these two friends. They kicking it, having small talk, and immediately you find out the reason why they're even there is Candace does a little bit of sex work, and she got paid $6,000 to get flown out to Paris and to urinate on somebody, and I'm not kink shaming. That's just what it is. You like what you like, I suppose. And, I'm sure some of you are familiar with some of the alleged stories that you hear about women who get flown out to Dubai and they get used like public toilets as well. But this one is kind of vice versa. She's getting flown out to do the urinating, not get urinated on. Nevertheless. So that's why they're here. And next thing you know, you see Candace notices Van. And just off the break, I knew this was going to be some other shit when Van just had this full-on French accent. Like, I don't know. It was like, okay, for the few episodes that you see Van, she has her regular, accent the whole time. And then all of a sudden, the moment you see her, she has this full-on French accent this whole time. So now I'm like, okay. And granted, I was... every episode I've always been asking, I want to know what's going on with Van. I want to know what's going on with Van. So I guess I'm getting what I'm asking for. So when she's doing that, I'm feeling like, okay, maybe she's like in the midst of like a breakdown or something. I don't know what's going on, but like, where is this French accent coming from? Like, you ain't speak this way this whole season. All of a sudden you just French-speaking woman. I mean, granted, she's not speaking the actual language, but she has this heavy French accent. So I'm like, All right, whatever the case is, I guess we're rolling. I know Atlanta can be weird. Let's see where it takes us. So, Van invites the three girls into her apartment or wherever she's staying at. This and the third. And Candace is realizing something just isn't right. Well, clearly, because she's like, yo, I know her from Atlanta. Where is this French accent coming from? And her friends was like, oh yeah, that's some weird shit. This and the third. And so the first thing that Candace realized was seemed off. I couldn't see it that clearly, but apparently Van's phone is just going off of all these series of texts. I couldn't make it out, but I'm assuming it may have been like Earn trying to check in on her or something like that. And the whole time Van is just trying to, not like a perfect life, but Van is just has this high bubbly energy this whole time. The French accent is still on, and this and the third. So she, talks, Kat is asking about her life, of course. She's talking about, I got a French boyfriend now, this and the third, just catching up. And, the girls even tell Van, oh yeah, we came up here, we got flown out because Candace, has like a date later on where she has to urinate with somebody. And so, and of course, like you said, when you got OnlyFans and stuff like that, people are into what they're into. Once again, no kink shaming. So next thing you know, Van has, lets them know she has to run a few errands and says, hey, please tag along. And so I'm like, okay, let's see where this is going. And this is just where it just feels like a weird dream. She ends up going to a house where Alexander Skarsgård is from True Blood. He's like dancing to Ashanti. He's dancing to Wayne Wonder, all this other stuff. He's, trying to propose that Shanice and Joe should get naked and let's all dance together. Let's just see where this goes. Like, he's out there. He is out there. And I'm just, at this point, I'm like, who in the writing room had the mushrooms on deck for this episode? Like, somebody really has the real life Franklin Saint Snowfall on deck. Like, this is wild. This is just one weird random dream. This whole episode just felt like a random ass dream. So, like I said, we end up going, while they're doing that, Van, she plants crack in the guy's apartment. And I'm just like, where is this going? And apparently, I guess that's one of the themes. It was like a sex kink type of a theme. Because apparently that's what Alexander Skarsgård is into. He's into some type of humiliation, punishment type of thing. And she even lets her know that's just the agreement we have. Next, she goes down, all the girls leave, stay for like 5 minutes. She's frantic, letting them know that something's wrong with Alexander Skarsgård upstairs. And that's it. And so, once again, which came first? Yeah, matter of fact, the next that they're like outside in like this, hood looking area of Paris, or, and for some reason, like they're, they're calling Van Terrare, which apparently was like a real person who had like an appetite where he would eat meat and live animals. And but he still just had like an appetite. He was just never full. It was like he was cursed with forever staying hungry no matter what he ate, whether it was live animals, baskets full of apples, eels. I think it was even rumored that he had, he ate like a baby. Once again, it was shrooms was on deck with this whole episode. And as I mentioned, it seemed like shit was about to go down and it was about to get to some trouble, but then a fight breaks out in the background and the person who is nicknamed Van Terrare ends up going and jumping in this fight. And the next, I'm gonna just say dream sequence. I don't even know, the next part of the episode, something goes wrong. There was some type of weird deal that Van had, and she, matter of fact, what looks like bread is actually a weapon, and she beats the hell out of some guy, with the like a 5 foot long baguette that she keeps in her bag, and it was left out to be stale and used as a weapon. So yeah, I was just at a loss for words. I was like, Shroom is on deck on this episode. So she beats the shit out of the guy with stale bread because he screwed her over. And next thing you know, she's like, don't come to the party. And that's the next time we see Alexander Skarsgård. He comes down and lets Van know about, hey, I know what you did back there. I almost lost my deal with Baby Shark, messing around with you. Don't you ever do that again. And then once again, the humiliation kink is continued as she spits in his face and he pleasures himself in the bathroom. Like, once again, this is not meant to kink shame anybody. You're into what you're into. Of course, even though this is a fictional show, I'm sure stuff like that comes from a real place. Totally get it. Oh yeah, and then at one point, like at this dinner that Shanice and Josha are at, like they're serving human hands. It's also, so we got cannibalism here, and I guess that was, I don't know, maybe some weird tie-in with the Terrare story, being that he was, rumored to be a cannibal in addition to eating everything else that he could picture. So I'm just like, yeah, where the hell, why are you have people eating hands? And how come no one else is freaked out by eating hands, for the exception of the two black women, Shanice and Josha? So yeah, that was, like I said, somebody had the mushrooms on deck. Like we got human hands, deep fried human hands that people are just eating like it's nothing. And it's just like, all right, man, this episode was very easy to check out of. But nah, man, as I said, I was not really feeling this episode, if I didn't make myself clear. Felt like one wild ass dream. And that's one thing that is funny, just to backtrack. Shanice was down for anything, all right? When Alexander Skarsgård did offer or, propose they all get naked and dance. Well, actually, Shanice and Josha both said, okay, sure, let's see where this goes. But Shanice is definitely down. So, that's what's up. So, nevertheless, Shanice and Josha want to stay. Candace feels very uncomfortable this whole day. She's almost like she's clearly like the most reasonable character in this episode, Candace. And, she really wants to leave. She does not want to attend this dinner party. But, so anyway, Shanice and Josha, they join the dinner party. Candace goes in the kitchen so she can try to talk them sense into Van. And once again, I'm not really sure how tight their relationship is. I don't know if they were that cool back in the days in Atlanta or whatever the case is. But so she's trying to talk some sense into it, and she is just acting like everything's just peachy, got the bubbly attitude still. And Candace is really concerned, like, yo, what's really going on? What are you going to do when your visa runs out? Are you even going to come back to Atlanta? And Amelie. And that's another thing. There was some type of, reference with Amelie as well, but not Amelie, but Van. Van is like, answering all these questions in this, pitch perfect, bubbly voice, like she has the solution and answer to everything. And finally, it's almost like something snapped when Candace was like, okay, well, what about Lottie? What about your daughter? What's really going on there? And then that's when she finally has the breakdown. She's throwing plates, she's crying, and then she just keeps repeating, "Where's Lottie? Where's Lottie? Where's Lottie?" So, and I do. So let me also take that back. I guess there were kind of three parts I like: the heart to heart that Candace and Van have, the post credit scene, and that moment when. And first of all, Zazie Beetz can act her ass off. She is doing a phenomenal job, even though I thought this episode was weird as hell. But I guess when she breaks down, you really see, I like that part because of the performance. But also, I know that could be a real place. I know we all can, whether you have a 9-to-5 or whatever your schedule is, whatever you got going on in your life, it's almost like we can all put on an act or, put this mask on when we go out there and we, do whatever day-to-day things you have to do in order to survive, in order just to stay head above water. And I'm sure we've all felt like breaking down. And so I did like that moment of vulnerability from Van, Zazie Beetz' character. And And then that's when they have the heart to heart. And it's clear that Candace is Van and the whole crew, they're going to go back to Atlanta. And the reason why I clearly like the heart to heart between Candace and Van was Van, seriously, admitted to contemplating suicide. She wanted to drive down the road with her eyes closed, and she felt like she wasn't good enough to be a mom. She felt like her daughter knew she wasn't good enough to be a mom. So that type of depression, I empathize for. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that I've experienced any type of suicidal thoughts or anything else like that. But of course, my heart goes out to people who do suffer from that, and that's why I really enjoyed that scene. Like that stuff like that comes from a real place. And once again, I sympathize with people like that who go through that. My heart goes out. I thought that was a beautiful scene, actually. And then, of course, once again, a job needs to be done. And although Candace isn't available, who comes in there who's down for everything? Shanice comes through so she could follow through with this guy's sexual kink. And she ends up using the guy as a human toilet. And although that was a long scene, very long scene. I did laugh at the end, like it was so long. The dude was like, you can stop. I had enough. That part was funny. But yeah, like I said, overall, I wasn't feeling the finale, man. I really felt like, I really felt like for the amount of random standalone episodes we got, I was just anticipating the finale having something to do with all four of the main characters, believe it or not. And as I mentioned, of course, you got the after the post-credit scene where Earn gets the bag. He said he knows it's not him, but he kind of like hesitant to even take it. But the delivery guy's like, nah, this is your bag, bro. This is what I got, blah, blah, blah. And he opens it up. There's a bag full of drugs. There's a portrait of a white family. And I guess money, even though they didn't show it, but it just seemed like the duffel bag was just full of random goodies. And when they play the eerie music and you get a close-up of the white family, at first look, I even tweeted it at first I thought it was Socks. I thought it was Socks and his family before the hair loss. But apparently I was wrong, at least according to these Twitter streets, which I love live tweeting when Atlanta is on, especially. Apparently I was wrong. Apparently that was the guy. I guess his name was Earn, but White Earn. But this guy, he actually was the person, if you remember, he was the one who killed himself during the big payback episode when it was time to... the episode where you got to give reparations to whoever your ancestors own. And so I've heard a lot of people on these Twitter streets saying, that was the person who owned Earn's ancestors, just trying to give them like a peace offering, I guess, and with all that stuff in the duffel bag. And also someone else brought it up. That is actually the same person who was in the very first episode when they was talking about the legend of that lake that got filled up, that actually killed or flooded a black city. So I thought that was kind of an eerie tie-in to it. So I like that, the whole weird, eerie part of Atlanta. That's what I really like. But other than the heart-to-heart, the breakdown, and the post-credit scenes, I really thought the finale could have been better. And that's saying a lot for a whole, it's like 45 minutes long. I only like 3 parts out of that whole episode that aired. But nevertheless, that's just my opinion. Love it or hate it. I am going to watch season 4 again. And as I mentioned, just as I said in the beginning, just because you don't like something from a person that you follow or that you're a fan of doesn't make you a hater. I don't consider myself no Donald Glover, aka Childish Gambino hater. I just think this wasn't it for me. But so now I'll say it. Hey, love it or hate it. That's just my opinion. Peace.